It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Okay, welcome in, everybody. Nice to have you with us here on the PJ Show. I'm Patrick Johnson, and here we are on a Tuesday, back at it. Thanks to Philip the Ref Pilkington for producing, intern William. Nice young man, that intern William. Good boy, that boy. On another day, we'll get to know intern William a little more closely. Today, we've got a lot of stuff happening here. Coming in the hour, the bottom of the hour, Marty Smith is with us, ESPN reporter and radio host. Marty Smith's got a new book, Sideline CEO. He'll tell us all about that coming up in a little bit. We'll also have a Pirate Report, some comments from Coach Houston last night. And right now, some breaking news that was hitting around this time yesterday. And I can tell you it was kind of the talk of Eastern North Carolina for the last several days, of the talk of last several hours, and the talk of sports as well. And this is the decision by the NCHSAA to strip New Bern High School of their 4A football championship last year. Earlier today, Q Tucker with the High School Athletic Association held a press conference. Now, a lot of this was more to do with the state taking over running the NCHSAA, but a couple of cuts about this from Q Tucker, including let's start with 18. Well, no, let's start with 16, Pilk, where Tucker talks about the New Bern football situation. Hit it.
I guess it's a litmus test in this way. That ruling was issued yesterday. Will we have someone who steps forward as a legislator and tries to get involved in that situation, and say that, well, we went too far, and really try to walk us back? That could be the litmus test. Now, to date, I've not received any indication that there is any legislator who is going to reach out or want to do something along those lines.
And then the team is on probation this year. What that probation means, more from Q Tucker.
Well, probation in and of itself simply means that the NCHSAA staff, as we continue to do what we do, we'll just be watching. We believe that Craven County and New Bern High School have done their due diligence. They're on the right path to move beyond this. And so they have said, here are the things that we're going to do. They've shared some things that they have put in place. So all we'll be doing is just watching.
All right, Q Tucker from earlier today. We go to the phone line now, off the jump here on the PJ Show. Live with us is the host of The Blitz on WCTI News Channel 12. Big-time news anchor on Channel 12 and on Fox Eastern Carolina. Our pal Brian North is with us here. B. North, thanks for joining us.
Of course, P-Man. I apologize to your intern for having to be your intern, by the way. I don't think he knows what he got himself into. But
no,
I digress.
He does not. He does not. Hey, let me ask you this, Brian. What has been – was this expected? It seemed to me to kind of be out of the blue yesterday, but you're down there. You have your finger on the pulse of Craven County. So was this an option on the table that was believed to have maybe occurred?
It's been talked about behind the scenes for at least 6 months, maybe longer. I don't know if your show is long enough to go into the in-depth explanation of all the craziness that's been happening in Craven County when it comes to football and when it comes to this latest ruling and the vacating of the state championship. So there was rumors of them, whether players were legal or not. Even during the season last year, there were a couple of student athletes who had borderline grades, but everything at the time had checked out. But you have to go back a couple of years to really get to the heart of this problem. when the principal at New Bern High School, Jerry Simmons, had something put in his file by the Board of Education that he did not like. Apparently, he received a couple of metal detectors from a booster to kind of help with security, and Board of Education was not happy with that he didn't go through them to get it, and they put something in his file. Well, he didn't like it. He wanted it out of his file, didn't think it deserved to be in there, and then he sued the Board of Education, and it's been a contentious relationship ever since. Well, Jerry hired, of course, Tori Nowell, the football coach, and through this last year, there became allegations that came out in March that Jerry Simmons possibly started changing grades for some student athletes to make them, whether it's eligible for college or to give them passing grades. Those accusations started in about March, the rumors of them anyways. Nothing happened until the lawsuit that Jerry Simmons filed was thrown out of court in May. Then all of a sudden, everything started hitting the fan then. So then Simmons and the guidance counselor, Heidi Ricks, were suspended with pay while an investigation was put into place. They never said what that investigation was, but all inside sources tell you it was about the possible changing of grades. But when you look at the state law says the principal has all final say when it comes to grades and is allowed to change grades based on need for a student in certain situations. So nothing happened with that. Simmons then retired effective July 1st. Rick stayed on suspension. Tori Nowell got a job somewhere else at Hillside, the head coach. And then we didn't hear of anything until last week when 6 players within the program were deemed ineligible, and they found out hours before they played Jacksonville. And so then New Bern had its 21-game win streak snapped by Jacksonville, who was the better team on the field that night. Whether the missing players would have made a difference or not, I don't know. That started this whole process of what is going on here. So then they found out that 2 of those players were not ineligible. So one was reinstated to the JV team, one to the varsity team. And so then we heard rumors that the Craven County School Board had alerted the NCHSAA. They were self-reporting about what they said were academic, ineligible student athletes from last year based on academics. That's when the NCHSAA reviewed what was submitted by Craven County, and Craven County basically said, we want to vacate the state title, and Q Tucker and the NCHSAA just said, okay, if that's what you want, go ahead and do it. They did not do any investigation themselves. That's not what they do. That's what they've never done. They've always just taken the recommendation of the county school board, and that's what they did in this case. Now, the question is, were there actually ineligible student athletes? If your principal is allowed to change grades, the guidance counselor in question has said that she thought everybody was eligible. When she was put on suspension, she did not know of anybody who was ineligible to play sports. And so then there became this attendance policy that the NCHSAA does not enforce anymore, has it for almost 10 years now. And so Craven County is saying they had several of these student athletes that are now suspended, did not follow the attendance rules, but you can't find clear attendance rules in the Craven County handbook. They're buried in there, and there are 2 different rules, and so it hasn't been enforced in the longest time, but now it seems to be. So now we have this vacate of the state title, and now we have waiting to see if they will have to forfeit these wins, but no one's sure what that next step is going to be. We're waiting for the superintendent and Craven County Board of Education to make the next move on this.
Well, Brian North is with us here, and he laid out beautifully what went down yesterday. So this kind of washes the hands of the High School Athletic Association, doesn't it? I mean, everybody I think was quick to hop on Q Tucker here, and there's plenty of things you can be critical of with the High School Athletic Association, and rightfully so. I don't like the idea of lawmakers getting involved in running high school athletics, but I do acknowledge that the association needs to have, perhaps an overhaul. That's a story for another day, though. But what you're saying is they're just going on the recommendation of the school board. Yeah. So I guess this begs to ask, Brian, what the hell's going on with your school board down there in Craven County? Because they've stripped the team. I mean, the Havelock people aren't going to like this, nor the West Craven people. They kind of stripped the flagship school in the county of its, with a lot of history, of its state title. And, then they were jerking Caleb King around. and Havelock.
Correct.
What the hell's going on down there?
So that's the million-dollar question. And what has happened is there's been a divisiveness between the three schools who all of a sudden are pointing fingers at each other when none of them have anything to do with this. But there's this divisive culture that's been created. There's been a lack of transparency. There's been a lot of accusations. There's all these things that are happening here that no one is quite sure where it's coming from. And so we have never been shown actual proof of these ineligibilities. And then you throw in, there are certain circumstances that go along with not every kid comes from an affluent two-parent home, and there are reasons why some kids are absent more than others. And so whether that's right or not, no one knows what the actual rules are. And then, well, they're trying to figure out. So here's one example that was pointed out to me by somebody. If you took the kids that were at New Bern High School and put them at Havelock and applied same rules, or they would not have been ineligible, because each school takes those rules and interprets them differently and has different ways to then mediate the process to get those kids back in good standing. So you have three schools under the same umbrella who are doing things three different ways. And so no one's quite sure where the whole self-reporting thing is coming from outside of the guidance of the superintendent and the school board, who, if you believe rumor, and there seems to be some substance to it, several years ago started to want to seem to get football under control in Craven County, where they thought it was counterproductive to the learning process, although there are people who will tell you football is what helps the learning process for a lot of these kids who otherwise would have zero interest in school. So there's this difference in philosophies right now, and no one's really been on the same page or been a leader out in front of this whole thing. The superintendent, Wendy Miller, has done some of it. She has tried to explain some of it, but there have just been a lot of gaps in the transparency of information, a lot of it hidden behind privacy laws and unable to talk about each individual person's case or what goes into it. So there's one student who's accused of missing like 60 days of school, which sounds absurd until you find out they were homeless. Their parents were incarcerated. They were kicked out of the subsidized housing they were living in. They had no place to go. And so, well, still go to school, but they had no place to sleep. They were just so, not that I'm excusing situations, but where was everybody to help those kids when they were in that situation? And no one was there for them. And that, I think, is ultimately the whole travesty where everybody failed the system at this point.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So you mentioned the principal Simmons retired. He has the leeway, according to your understanding of the rules, to change grades. Now has left, and I guess has got out of this thing kind of scot-free in a sense. But, I mean, what is his culpability in any of this?
So that's the big question. So he was eligible for retirement in July 1st, and he planned on doing that all along. When you Google or look up the state law, state law says
the principal, right?
Yes, principal. Principal
Okay,
Jerry Simmons. He's been the principal for, I believe, 9 years. When you look up the state law, the principal has final say in the grades. And whether you can debate all day long whether that's right or wrong.
What about Torrey now, though? And I don't know him like you know him. We covered, TJ Long and I covered Pamlico in the state championship game, and it was a done deal. He was going to New Bern. I didn't think he handled that very well with those kids in Pamlico County, but I was parachuting in and doing a football game and getting out of there, and so what? But, I mean, where's his culpability in this? It seems like he would know what's going on.
So, and this is the whole thing of the gray area of what is allowed to help students in certain situations. What is best for the student athlete is ultimately what the question should be, right? What is best for the student, not even the athlete.
Everybody says they care about that. Nobody at any level cares about that. If they're telling you they care about that, they're lying. Yeah. They're lying because their lips are moving. And I'm talking about high school, college, the whole nine.
Yeah. So I can tell you firsthand that Jerry Simmons has bought kids clothes, bought kids meals, helped find places to still live. I can tell you that Jerry Simmons has done some of those things in the past. And whether you believe a principal should be allowed to change grades to help a kid or help them become eligible for their betterment, that's a whole philosophical thing. State law says he's allowed to do that. So with him, most people will tell you they think he was trying to help student athletes. Now, Torrey Nowell, I don't know if I can speak as much for him. Torrey's a good family man. He has a wife. He has a daughter. He's always been good, but Torrey's always been ambitious as well and trying to move up the coaching ladder and wanted to win and win his way. I don't know if there are people who will tell you that he and Jerry created a culture that allowed the kids to maybe not be as accountable as they needed to be. They were given a little too much leeway and given a little too much help when they needed to draw the line further up. Again, subject for debate. Where is that line? What is it? Every kid's situation is different. The attendance policy that really has been an issue here, with a lot of kids missing in the spring semester,
right.
That's been a whole other thing that goes on top of it. And where were the adults saying, get in class? And there was some adults, the seniors that graduated were given a pass on those absences so they could get their diplomas. Now, some had to go to summer school to fix some grade issues, but at one point, all the graduating seniors were given a pass on attendance. If that's the case for them, why was that not also granted to this other class? So it's just this lack of consistency in where the rules are and what is being enforced and what isn't. And maybe the school board saying now is enough, but there's still a lack of transparency as to the whole process and how it's being carried out and why certain people are being identified when they weren't in the past.
All right. Last thing for you, Brian, and I appreciate your time on this. And then I'm sure there's a lot more to come. It sounds like there is. So in our first cut, we played Q Tucker in this press conference she had today to talk about how unfair it is that the law makers or that the state is taking over the high school athletic association. It seemed like she said if a lawmaker wants to get involved and overturn this. It seems to me that would not have been a great comment from Tucker because, again, as far as she's concerned, she's scot-free on this because she was going at the recommendation of the school board. Do you think that there will be any appetite for a lawmaker from that region that represents that county now that this is a state-controlled entity to get involved and maybe reverse this thing? Because this also seems like it just seems like a really extreme penalty.
Yeah. Well, Steve Tyson would be the guy. He's a representative from the New Bern area, former New Bern football player himself, grew up in this area, has been here forever. He would have to be the guy that does that. And I would have to talk to Steve to get his feel for that. This is all relatively new, this territory. We've seen that state try to get involved. This is how this whole process has happened with the NCHSAA coming under the umbrella of the state government because of an upset politician over some ejections that happened in his area, and he was not happy with the team being forced out of the postseason. So the precedent is already set to a degree. Well, what becomes the legalities of this, and what becomes the legalities when it comes to the school board and the superintendent and what they're allowed to do and enforce and what rules they have? So, look, it's a whole new wild, wild west if that's going to happen. Certainly, I think everyone agrees.
Go ahead, Brian, because I was just going to follow up on something there.
Certainly everyone agrees there needs to be better, clear, understood policies with transparency and accountability all up front. I think that's been lacking in this whole process is no one is quite sure what the rules are, why they're enforced sometimes, why they're not enforced others, and why this is happening now without a clear accountability by those who are in charge of making these decisions.
The other thing I was just going to say, it seems to me that now that the High School Athletic Association is being run by the state, that entity could say, all right, we're going to recognize them as the state champs because it's our association, and they won it on the field. And I could see a case where the school system says we will not acknowledge them as state champs, and we don't want to see any banners or signage. I mean, that would be – but, I mean, it's already a nasty, sticky situation. So, gosh, this is never a dull moment, is it?
Yeah, no. And the city had already paid for all these signs commemorating all the state championships New Bern's ever won. So I guess they're going to have to get some spray paint and X out the last one or something. But it's been very divisive. There's been a lack of education on this. Like, a lot of people don't know a lot of the rules or the laws or the things that apply here. We're all kind of learning on our own here as we go without the help of the leaders in charge who just kind of feels like they're just trying to get their ducks in a row and kind of have everything fit their agenda here as they're up ahead of it and just trying to fill in behind them the wake of getting everything to fit in their rules. That's what it feels like. And until we can get some more clear-cut answers about these things, this is going to be a hot topic of debate in Craven County, which is a football county.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Safe travels.
All right. See you, Pittman.
All right, there he goes. Brian North, The Blitz, 11 o'clock on Friday nights on News Channel 12. Pilk is going to have some baseball scores coming up for you. The playoffs began today, and we'll get into that. But when we return, a Pirate Report, and Marty Smith still to come today on the PJ Show.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
Call AA Hauling, 252-946-1227 or AAHauling.com.
R&D Brewing is proud to partner with the ECU Pirates, and now you can enjoy Pirates Brew, the official craft beer of ECU Athletics. Pirates Brew is a carefully curated light beer that embodies the spirit of ECU, a refreshing and easy drinking light beer. Pirates Brew by R&D Brewing is available now at grocery stores, local retailers, and at ECU athletic events.
Head over to your favorite store and enjoy a nice Pirates Brew today, or else you'll walk the plank. Hand me another Pirates Brew.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast, Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Hey Pirate Nation, I'm head men's basketball coach Mike Schwartz.
And I'm Kim McNeil, head coach of your defending American Athletic Conference champion women's basketball team.
Basketball season.
And now, Patrick Johnson with today's Pirate Report on the flagship station of the ECU Pirates, 94.3 The Game.
All right, interesting stuff from Brian North there, and a story that is far from done, one would think. All right, Coach Houston last night on Inside Pirate Athletics. We'll get to a few cuts here today and a few more tomorrow. I believe, Pilk, they are having a post-practice presser with Coach and the coordinators tomorrow. So Thursday we'll have some fresh content. And stay tuned. We're probably gonna have a big guest on Thursday in addition to Jim Zoki. So we're going to be getting to that. We'll announce it on social media, or if we get it confirmed before we leave the airwaves today, do it. But stand by for that big announcement either today on social media, definitely by tomorrow on the Patrick Johnson Show. Big guest for Thursday. All right. Coach Houston talking about just the close losses and being so much better in many categories than the Pirates were against Rice, and it's just a tough pill to swallow, that 7-point loss. Hit it.
I thought we did some really good stuff. I thought we moved the ball well between the 20s. The drive to come out and start the second half was a great drive to really take control. You'd claw back to get it to a 1-point game there at halftime, and to come out and drive the ball like that to get it down there first and goal from the 3. You really feel like you're getting ready to take the lead, start the second half, which that's huge momentum. And so that one really hurts right there.
More from Coach, and this is on the pick that Alex Flynn threw.
They were in man coverage. We should have gotten that guy blocked. He shouldn't have been able to get to Javius. We were probably a little bit quick releasing on the nose guard, and he got in Alex's face pretty fast. Now Alex you can't throw that pass blindly. Now, if we get the linebacker blocked, there's nobody anywhere near him. I mean, that's going to be a big play. So I don't think necessarily the play call was a poor play call as much as we didn't do a great job executing it. So we got to coach that up better, and we got to hold that nose guard for another count before we release him, which gives Alex just a couple of second longer before he has to throw it. And then if they are in man coverage, we got to do a good job of screening that guy and not letting him be able to sniff that out. But it was a great play by the linebacker there from Rice.
And Coach Houston, on the importance of the corners on this year's team.
They are a reason why we are improved this year defensively, because you do have guys out there that can cover. And I'm telling you, they're both going to play better every week. Antoine Jackson is going to improve every single week.
A couple more here. Coach Houston on what they plan to rep at practice during the bye week.
Scout portion of practice is going to be versus SMU stuff. We're going to spend each day special teams. Hit a couple each day. We're going to work all of our late game situations, special situations. All the stuff, the random stuff that you don't have time to work. Traditionally you work them during preseason camp. Sometimes you try to hit a couple late in the week each week, but you don't have a chance to really go in depth on all of them. Try to hit all those this week.
All right. Coach says we'll probably get through 6 here, Pilk, on working in some of the younger guys throughout the week. That'll be something else they'll be doing.
With the 4-game redshirt rule, we have a good freshman class. I think some of those guys could help us later on in the year, whether it be on special teams or wherever. So we're going to spend some time with those guys, just a little bit extra of letting them get in, just legitimate stuff, running our stuff kind of deal, working them some on special teams.
And he says a big emphasis this week will be on finishing drives.
You got to look at how we can do a better job of finishing drives, and that's because that's been an issue. Getting touchdowns instead of field goals, and so we're 25-yard line in, goal line short yardage. Those will be big emphases this week. All
right, and that is today's Pirate Report. I guess this would fall under a Pirate Report too, Pilk. We've got confirmation of our big news that I was telling you about earlier. Let me find what I'm looking for here to give this the proper intro that it needs. Hang on, Pilk. Here it is. Stand by.
Everyone, a little breaking news for you.
I've got to position this board a little differently. All right. We are going to have Holt Nailers on Thursday's show. So the all-time leading passing leader in the AAC will be on the program. We will announce details tomorrow of where you can view that program and how you can consume it and all of that. It's probably going to be a split video airtime here on the radio station kind of deal. But Holt Nailers, breaking news, will be with us on Thursday's Patrick Johnson show. So looking forward to having Holton on then. Okay, right now, Philip the Ref Pilkington with a 94-3 The Game Sports Flash update. Then we'll talk to Marty Smith about his new book, Sideline CEO, ESPN's Marty Smith in the wings. We'll talk with him. Right now, here is Philip, the Ref Pilkington.
Thanks, Patrick. Philip Pilkington here with your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update and Pirate Report. The Pirates are off to a rough start on the gridiron. There are a lot of questions surrounding the offense. One of those is not the character of the two quarterbacks.
They both have done a great job of supporting each other, and that's special. They're as good a human beings as they are players, and they both deserve the opportunities.
A lot of other news going on in Pirate athletics right now. The Ironwood Classic just finished up. That was a men's golf event. Lucas Augustin brought home the tournament, and the Pirates finished second as a team. Lucas shot 15 under for the entire tournament, going 9 under in the first round, 5 under in the second, and 1 under in the third and final round. Moving into more Pirate athletics, ECU soccer player Abby Sawa, has been named to the College Soccer News Women's National Team of the Week. This comes off the heels of Sawa being named the AAC Defensive Player of the Week. Against FAU, she played the full 90 minutes and assisted a goal that was scored by Sydney Chanel. And against USF, she was a big part in the Pirates' 7th clean sheet of the season, and she also added her first goal of the season on a penalty kick in the 77th minute. The American Athletic Conference has announced that swimmer Kaylee Hamblin has been named the Swimmer of the Week for the conference. She took home a pair of individual victories over the weekend in the 100 and 200 meter breaststroke, as well as being a part of the 200 meter medley team, which also won their event. Today, Q Tucker, the director of the High School Athletics Association, spoke on a law that would give power to the Board of Education to govern high school athletics, and said this handcuffs the NCHSAA.
This legislation handcuffs the NCHSAA. It handcuffs the means through which the association can raise funds. It prevents the NCHSAA from giving grants and scholarships back to students in schools unless they are donor directed.
In other high school sports news, last year's 4A state football champion New Bern has vacated their title. This comes after investigation was opened by the North Carolina High School Athletics Association into the teams playing players that did not meet attendance requirements needed to participate in high school athletics. The Charlotte Hornets have announced that they will have a jersey patch deal with Mr. Beast. His logo will appear on the team uniforms as well as the media backdrops for the news conferences. Looking over at Major League Baseball right now as the wild card round is underway, Texas currently leads Tampa Bay 4-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Minnesota Twins lead the Toronto Blue Jays 2-0 midway through the third. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash update and Pirate Report. On the other side of this timeout, ESPN's Marty Smith will join the P-Man.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Hey, grab me one too.
Got a brand new book out, Sideline CEO, Leadership Principles from Championship Coaches. Marty Smith joins us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. It's nice to have him on with us. Marty, I hope you're well. Congrats on the book. And I got a lot of things to ask you. But first, welcome to the show.
I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for the platform. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, doing okay. You know, I've talked to a lot of people that know you, a lot of people who have interviewed you, a lot of people who have worked with you. And I say, is this Marty Smith guy for real? He's always so positive, and he's always so energetic. And they say, what you see is what you get with Marty Smith. And that's refreshing to hear in a lot of ways.
Well, that's an interesting perspective. It is kind of funny, I guess, when you try to lead with kindness and lead with joy and be grateful for your blessings, that people might question your authenticity. That's funny.
I'm not a cynic. But you always seem so up. You always seem so up, and in a business where it's easy to get cynical.
I lost my parents very young.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned really quickly that you can, like, it's interesting the compass you lose when you lose your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned really quickly that I had two choices in life. I could be insecure, which I have been, certainly through ego-driven insecurity at times, but the old adage, comparison is the thief of joy, is there may have never been a truer statement. And so I sort of recalibrated the person I wanted to be, and I tried to look at it like every single second is such a blessing to be on this side of the dirt.
Mm.
And if we're not using it to try to be a light in the world, especially someone who's been as fortunate and blessed as I have, then I'm just not doing it right. And so that's just sort of the approach I've taken. I mean, every single day you control kindness, effort, and passion. Nobody defines that for you. Nobody decides that for you. You do. And so that's just the way I live my life. My kids are tired of hearing it, but when they're 35 years old, they're going to go, you know what? Damn it, Daddy was right.
Yeah. Marty Smith with us, ESPN reporter, brand new book out, Sideline CEO, Leadership Principles from Championship Coaches. Is that the piece of advice, Marty, you give? Because I'm sure you're approached all the time by young broadcasters. In fact, people have told me they've approached you for advice or to get some guidance. The comparison is the thief of joy is one that, because we're about the same age. It took me a little while to figure it out in the biz, and you just run your race. And I wish that would be the one that when they say if you go back and there's one thing you could tell your young self, that would be the good one there. So is that the big piece of advice you usually give young people in the business?
Yeah, I think I would give other people different advice than I would give myself, because I don't know their inner workings. I don't know their emotional and mental strength. I only know mine. And I know that my greatest insecurity my whole life was that I like to be liked. And so I would go back and tell my younger self, do not invest in outside opinions the way that you do.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that about myself. There are people I've said that to in the very recent past who actually you say that's your superpower. It's that you give everyone a chance. It's
Right.
that you find the good in everybody rather than try to seek out some sort of flaw or whatnot. But I would say that to me, to these young people who ask me all the time. The funniest one is young broadcast journalism students who have Southern accents, and they tell me their professors are imploring them to go to some sort of diction school to lose it. And they go, well, that guy didn't. And I love that. I think that's quite an honor that they would point at me. It still baffles me that some people question the authenticity of my accent too, as if this accent is beneficial in broadcast journalism. But nonetheless, I would tell the young people that if you can't find your voice and be true to that voice, because if you are authentic, then you will experience the joy of success, not the relief of success.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much anxiety that comes with relief. And that's what I would tell them. Joy and relief are not the same emotion.
Marty Smith is with us. The book is essentially it's not a sports book per se, although a lot of the lessons are derived from coaches that you've covered. But it's a book that seems like it would be applicable for anybody in the world of business or just in the world in general.
Absolutely, and that sort of was the whole reason I wanted to do it. I wanted to take these 20 individuals who've achieved at the absolute pinnacle. There are 55 national or professional championships among the 20 individuals that I interviewed for the book. And they have done it in an uber high pressure, massive budget, win or you're gone format. And that is applicable to business leaders all over the world. I've even injected a lot of this wisdom into my daily walk as a father and husband.
Mm-hmm.
The main way being process over outcome. I tend to project what I want for my children rather than helping them on a daily basis become their best self. And that then also goes back to that joy versus relief thing. And ultimately, this is not a sports book. They happen to give me their wisdom, and I get the blessing of being the vehicle or conduit to the masses. I don't care what your walk of life is, path, goals. You can absolutely and will, I believe, take tremendous wisdom from those pages.
The book is by Marty Smith, Sideline CEO. It's available wherever you buy your favorite books or download them to a Kindle or tablet. Tim Tebow is going to be in Greenville later in the month, is one of the people. Oh, he wrote the foreword of the book. It touches on all of the hallmarks that I think are effective, whether you're a CEO or just whether you're in any kind of business. The big one I always see is communication. And, there's the joke, there's no communication in the communications business, and sometimes there's not. But that, to me, would be, at least in my experience, is the most important pillars is communication and maybe communicating expectations. Who did you?
I went in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Marty.
I went into the book trying to be open-minded. I've always believed that trust was the number one foundation principle of any relationship in order for it to move forward. But I will tell you, as I made my way through this process and through the interview process and then putting all of this wisdom together into those 8 pillars, it's amazing how they all fit together like such a beautiful puzzle. They all sort of feed off of one another, which is, trust, and then communication. And within communication is shut your mouth and open your ears and listen, which is insanely powerful thing. If you listen to someone else, you're not assuming as a leader. And then there's delegation. Are you a micromanager? Because if you're a micromanager, you're probably leading with insecurity. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, told me in the book, he said, that if you're an uber high achiever and uber driven, there's an inclination that if it's not getting done by the people you charged with getting it done to your liking, there's an inclination I'll just do it myself. But that's not the best way in a lot of cases. And so there's all, and then there's there is crisis management, there's self-evaluation, there's evolution, there's all of these different kind of pillars of leadership that all fit into that puzzle and that make a great leader. And it was just a fascinating journey, but communication, being able to reach them on their level is vital because no two people process information the same way and at the same rate. So it's very important that you have communication with each person that is digestible, and then it's repetitive so that it becomes habit. And you don't treat everybody the same, you treat everybody fairly. And so all of those lessons and all of that intentional wisdom is in the book, and I'm so grateful they all gave me the time.
Marty Smith with us. We appreciate him giving us time here today. The evolution part of that seems to be most fascinating because there is a need to roll with the punches and move along with the times, yet keep your core principles. How did these figures, who are all championship coaches, Mac Brown in this state, Saban, Doc Rivers, Calipari, I mean, the list, it's a who's who, Roy Williams, Dabo. How did you feel like you learned about how they not only evolve but also keep the core principles? That seems like it can be a challenge.
Yeah, it's been quite an evolutionary process for each of them, especially the coaches of great tenure, because when Nick Saban started, when Mac started, when Roy started, when Izzo started, it was, I tell you to do something and you do it because of the title. I am your coach. I am your leader. It's an authority position and you're going to do what I say. I'm 47 years old. I grew up, if my daddy or my mama told me to do something, I did it. I didn't question them. I'd have got backhanded if I did. So these days, all the young people want the why. And I don't care what path we're talking about here. Izzo told me he wanted the Vince Lombardi principle run through that brick wall. And back then they ran through the brick wall because Coach Lombardi told them to. These days, Coach Izzo said the goal is still to get through the brick wall, but they want the why they're running through the brick wall. So you have to evolve in such a way that reaches them on their level. And it's not just communication. It's so many different, like it's something as fundamental as the X's and O's of football. It used to be line up in the wishbone offense, run the option and get 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards. And now look what happened. It's now all RPO, wide open, spread offenses where they're slinging the ball all over the pond 60 times a game. So it's fundamental in your respective business to evolve. It's classic Eckhart Tolle. If you do not evolve, you die. Kirby Smart said that to me in the book. And so, yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been a real challenge. I mean, going back to delegation a minute and evolution, they're intertwined. Kirby told me he did not become a championship head football coach until he learned to delegate. He micromanaged for the first several years of his head coaching life. Then he learned to delegate, and here we are, back-to-back national champions in Athens, Georgia.
You know, it seems like, and I always tend to try to turn to people that are much, much smarter than I am, and it's not difficult to do, to get their insight into something. Be it an interview, be it something, a decision, what have you. With these head coaches, there's a buck stops with me, but how much of them did you find are willing to, maybe hire the person on their staff who is smarter than they are?
Well, a lot of them, and those exact words were used. I mean, Calipari, John Calipari used those exact words with me. I want to hire people that are smarter than I am. Tom Izzo also said the same thing. Christian Horner is the team principal for Red Bull Formula One, and I was asking him about micromanagement. He said, in this world, you hire someone because they're elite, because they're very intelligent, and you got to let them do the job. And if they don't live up to that standard, you fire them. I mean, this is the elite. This is the top. This is the pinnacle. And you just have to, because they are CEOs. They have to look at their businesses in a macro perspective, because what do they do every day? It is hiring, firing. It is budgeting. It is human resources. It is crisis management. In the college football world, if the number one women's tennis recruit in America is visiting Alabama, that young lady wants to meet who? Nick Saban.
Right.
So he has so much going on. Getting in the granular, microscopic nuance of game planning, anymore, it doesn't. Look at Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. He finally handed the play calling off this season to Bobby Petrino. They're 4-1 right now.
Yeah. and the buyout talk is ended. It's absurd.
For now, brother. For now.
Marty, a real honor. This was tremendous. Sideline CEO, you can pick it up, Amazon.com, wherever you buy books. Follow Marty on Twitter or X at Marty Smith ESPN. Marty, thank you. Continued success. We appreciate the time greatly.
So grateful again for the platform. I really appreciate it. And I live at Lake Norman. I'm a North Carolina guy. So love our state, brother. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Marty. Take care. There he goes, Marty Smith. And again, the book Sideline CEO is available wherever you buy or download your favorite books. Timeout. We'll come back, wrap the show up right after this.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You can't name a lot of things that I didn't do. It's like a paper, like a book, not a Kindle. You outdated, I'm the one they getting into, and I ain't break a sweat. Let's get it, 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 let's get it. Child, please, I don't need a towel, please.
Are you game day ready? Anson Belt, the official belt of ECU Athletics.
Are you ready for a digital hair color revolution? The Color Master Factory by Chi and LG. A masterpiece of innovation, unlimited color formulations, limitless possibilities, long-lasting color. Chi.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
Okay, no music coming back. That's all right. We are here on the Patrick Johnson Show. The Rangers just shut out the Rays to take a 1-0 lead in that wild card series, and Minnesota and the Blue Jays happening right now. There'll be two more games tonight. It's October baseball. It's the best kind of baseball. 3-0 is now the Twins over the Jays in that one. All right, we are going to be wrapping it up for the day here in just a bit. Thanks to Brian North. Excellent summation of this situation in New Bern. And I've seen a lot of comments from people because the news channels in the market are trying to make hay of this story and get the engagement that they want on social media and all that. And the thing is, you've got to understand, as North expertly pointed out, there's a lot of gray area in this situation. There's no specific rules, and this is not a high school athletic association handing this down. This is coming from the Craven County Board of Education. So it just seems like there's a real axe to grind somewhere, and we'll see how this winds up. I don't think we're at the end of this story yet. And I don't think we're at a resolution either where it may finish up. Marty Smith's book, Sideline CEO. William, I was going to give it to you, but Trent McGee on Sports has called it. So I'm going to pass it on to McGee. Maybe he'll pass it on to you after he reads through it. Our big announcement earlier in the show, Thursday, Holton Ahlers will be with us. And it looks like that's going to be a 10 o'clock video broadcast. And we'll have it for you in the 5 o'clock hour here on the radio on 94.3 The Game. So that is part of what's coming up on Thursday. Tomorrow, Doug Martin will talk about the Pirates. We'll talk college football. I may even get into a little bit Bryce Young with Doug tomorrow. So that is coming up. Thanks to Marty Smith. Thanks to Brian North. Thanks to Philip Pilkington and intern William. See you in the morning on Talk of the Town at 7 a.m., 103.7, 96.3, and then back here on 94.3 The Game at 5 o'clock for the PJ Show on Wednesday. Have a great evening, everybody.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
Call AA Hauling, 252-946-1227 or AAHauling.com.
R&D Brewing is proud to partner with the ECU Pirates, and now you can enjoy Pirates Brew, the official craft beer of ECU Athletics. Pirates Brew is a carefully curated light beer that embodies the spirit of ECU, a refreshing and easy drinking light beer. Pirates Brew by R&D Brewing is available now at grocery stores, local retailers, and at ECU athletic events.
Head over to your favorite store and enjoy a nice Pirates Brew today, or else you'll walk the plank. Hand me another Pirates Brew.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Hey Pirate Nation, I'm head men's basketball coach Mike Schwartz.
And I'm Kim McNeil, head coach of your defending American Athletic Conference champion women's basketball team.
Basketball season is just around the corner, and we're looking forward to another exciting season on the hardwood.
We need Pirate Nation to Pat Minji's Coliseum by purchasing your season tickets today.
Call 1-800-DIAL-ECU or visit